In the complex tapestry of Marvel's X-Men universe, filled with alternate realities, dystopian futures, and mutant uprisings, few organizations are as vital and compelling as the X.S.E, short for Xavier's Security Enforcers. Introduced in the early 90s during a surge of alternate timeline storytelling, the X.S.E represents a rare, optimistic vision, a future where mutants police themselves not out of fear, but to protect a fragile peace between humans and Homo superior. The X.S.E first appeared in Uncanny X-Men number 282, 1991, alongside the debut of its most iconic member, Bishop, a mutant from a future timeline roughly 80 years ahead of the present-day Marvel Universe. In this grim future, society has fractured. Mutants are persecuted, interned in camps, and blamed for disasters that have scarred the world. Amid this chaos, the X.S.E is born, formed in the name of Charles Xavier to uphold law, order, and mutant responsibility. It's a police force composed entirely of mutants, working under the philosophical legacy of Xavier's dream of coexistence. Led by a strict code of ethics and a commitment to justice, the X.S.E trains its members, not just in combat, but in diplomacy and law enforcement. They are not just fighters, they are investigators, enforcers, and protectors. The organization is built as a response to failed attempts at mutant supremacy and human domination alike, an answer to the cycles of war, prejudice, and retribution that plague most of mutant kind's history. Bishop, raised in an X.S.E camp and later becoming one of its officers, embodies the ethos of the organization. He believes in Xavier's dream, but through a hardened, realist lens. Unlike many X-Men who preach peace and understanding, Bishop comes from a world where ideals alone weren't enough. His arrival in the present timeline, chasing a criminal from his era, marks the beginning of the X.S.E's influence on the mainstream Marvel continuity. With him comes not just a new character, but the values, strategies, and haunting cautionary tales of the future he escaped. Following Bishop's arrival, other X.S.E members were gradually introduced, such as Shard, his sister, and Fix, Greystone, and Archer, mutants with unique abilities who often found themselves adapting to a present where their methods and trauma stood in stark contrast to the modern X-Men. This cross-temporal interaction made the X.S.E stand out. Unlike other future set stories, X.S.E members weren't isolated. They brought their future into the now. One of the X.S.E's most lasting contributions is the foundation it laid for the Extreme Sanctions Executive, also abbreviated as X.S.E, a United Nations-backed international mutant policing task force formed in the present-day Marvel Universe. Headed by Storm, this iteration of the X.S.E sought to preempt global mutant-human conflicts and build new bridges between sovereign nations and the mutant community. While not the same as Bishop's dystopian police squad, this modern version drew direct inspiration from it, emphasizing accountability, diplomacy, and proactive intervention. What makes the X.S.E especially relevant today is its thematic focus. The balance between freedom and control, protection and authoritarianism, identity and duty. In a genre often dominated by superpowered spectacle, the X.S.E dares to ask harder questions. Who gets to enforce justice? How do you rebuild a broken society? Can power ever be used responsibly without repeating the mistakes of the past? Throughout Marvel's continuity, the X.S.E has served as a mirror held up to the X-Men's idealism. Where the X-Men often represent hope and resistance, the X.S.E represents structure and consequence. It challenges the assumption that peace will come naturally, suggesting instead that it must be protected, policed, and painfully earned. While the original X.S.E timeline remains largely segregated from current canon, Bishop's presence in core X-Men titles ensures that its legacy continues. His leadership roles, his ongoing battles with trust and trauma, and his deep sense of duty all stem from his training with the X.S.E, an institution shaped by chaos and forged with purpose. As the Marvel Universe continues to explore timelines, alternate futures, and global mutant governance, the X.S.E remains a cornerstone of that narrative landscape. Whether seen as a prophetic warning or a necessary evolution, the Xavier Security Enforcers stand as proof that even in the darkest future, someone will carry the dream forward, not with words, but with action.